Hey, I'm Krista Liebert, and this is my final project for DigDiv475. Digital diversity is
Follow me down, I'll show you around. There's a place we gotta go. Follow me, la la la.
In this video, I'm going to travel to different countries and continents to explain digital diversity in the context of certain situations and cultures. This is my thesis. Digital diversity is the worldwide differences among societies and cultures that create a multitude of digital cultures and digital practices.
Yell it all around the world, do you hear me?
The first country we're going to look at is China. As shown by our in-class discussions and the textbook, Digital Media Ethics, other cultures have vastly different views on privacy and the free flow of information. China is a country that focuses on censorship. Unlike Western ideals, China focuses on censoring materials and not allowing its citizens free reign over information. One prime example of this is Google. Google recently had to pull out of China because they could not show much of the content that they wanted to. In addition to that, a website called YouTube was also banned from the Chinese internet. This just shows the digital culture and norms are so different than that of what we are used to.
Yell it all around the world, do you hear me?
The next place we're going to examine is the Middle East. If you follow the news at all, you know that the Middle East has been facing government revolutions based off of social networking sites. Some of these sites include Facebook, YouTube, also blogs, where bloggers share their content with the rest of the world online, and Twitter, where participants tweet about the goings-on in the social revolutions. As shown by this picture, social networking sites such as Twitter are having an enormous impact on today's world and the digital culture that we live in. It's really interesting to see how powerful social media has become. One example of this was a group of Egyptians called for a strike to protest bad working conditions. They created a Facebook group, and within weeks, over 70,000 members joined. It's crazy to see the kind of digital media that's used in the Middle East. They look at technology as a serious tool with power and responsibility, which is vastly different from the Western ideals, which look at it as a tool to keep in touch with friends and stay social.
Yell it all around the world, do you hear me?
The next place we're going to focus on is Africa. Africa is a huge continent, and one of their huge issues is the digital have and the digital have-nots. One initiative trying to solve this problem is the One Laptop Per Child, which aims to give every child on the continent a laptop. In addition, cell phones are being used to disseminate information and to help businesses' bottom lines. Toxic e-waste being shipped from other countries also poses a huge threat to Africa. Salvaging precious metals from electronic waste is a lucrative business, however, it is extremely harmful to health. Another raging debate is that of access over education. Does access really create education? Or does access simply give people tools? Africa is a nation that is really important to me because I will be studying abroad there next year, and my group did our project on the One Laptop Per Child initiative in Africa. 33 countries in Africa are qualified as the least developed nations in the world. This essentially means they have the poorest socioeconomic development. The have and the have-nots is a huge issue, and Africa has a lot of have-nots. There are multiple programs trying to fix this. such as One Laptop Per Child, which focuses on giving children laptops to aid in their education. In addition, electronic waste is another issue. Developed countries are dumping their computers, radios, and all other forms of electronic waste on Africa's shores. This is dangerous to both the environment and the health. As we discussed in class and in our book, Digital Media Ethics, is this really an ethical practice to dump this kind of material, or should we be finding other ways to recycle?
Heaven bent, take my hand and lead me through.
One Laptop Per Child is an initiative that's trying to give one laptop to every child in the world. This will both increase their access to computer and digital technologies, as well as their education and familiarity with it. Hopefully with this initiative, we can pull these countries out of being the least developed. A huge ethical issue on the topic of digital diversity is electronic waste, or e-waste for short. E-waste is the dumping of old computers or technological things in other countries. First of all, it's dangerous to the environment. And secondly, it's dangerous to the health of those who burn the materials to get certain metals such as copper to sell because they have no other means to make money. This brings up a serious ethical question. Is it ethical to dump these materials wherever a developed country feels necessary? We're putting these less developed countries in a bad situation, and we need to think about the ethics associated with this.
Katie yelling all around the world. Do you hear me?
The next place we'll be visiting is a small town in the middle of Washington called Pullman. You may have heard of it because it is the home to Washington State University.
Had to give it to y'all again. If you in Martin Stadium right now, then go crazy, lean back and listen.
Today's college generation is always on some form of social media or digital technology, whether it's Facebooking or listening to your iPod or just texting friends. It seems like today we're always on. Pullman, Washington is a college town full of a lot of young people. We're always using technology, and we're always on. One thing that was discussed in the book Technicolor, as well as in class, was media multitasking. This is where people are on multiple forms of media all at the same time. An example of this would be someone writing an essay while listening to music while Facebooking with their friends. According to our textbook, the brain can't actually handle this type of information all at once. Its process is to focus on one thing at a time. Because of this, we're not learning as much with what we're doing. In addition to this, Western culture is one of instant gratification. Nowadays, people like their media in short, small bites. This can be harmful because people aren't learning information in depth. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm on Facebook and listening to Pandora.
Nice. Shouldn't you be studying for finals? What are you doing?
I'm watching Nip Tuck on Hulu and sending out resumes.
Shouldn't you be studying?
No.
Hey, what are you doing?
Just texting people? Why?
Shouldn't you be studying?
I guess. Yeah, probably.
Hey, what are you doing?
Just watching TV.
Shouldn't you be studying?
Yeah, probably, but I need a little break anyways.
So, in conclusion, all of this research and all of these examples lead me back to my original thesis. Digital diversity is the worldwide differences among societies and cultures that create a multitude of digital cultures and practices.